Josh Widdicombe. Podcast. XFM.
Strokes on XFM, and before that, radio static from a broken microphone. It's kind of fed into what I wanted to talk to you about today anyway, Neil.
Okay.
It's as if we're professional. It's as if we've gone, I tell you what would be an amazing way to start the show, as if it was all going wrong, and then we'll turn it around. So, because we were having a chat before we went on air. It's my producer, Neil, if you were wondering, whose mic is working perfectly. Mine is now as well, but I'm on a kind of substitute reserve mic. So you were telling me something before you came on.
Well, yeah, I found out something about someone in the office this week.
Right, this isn't the forum to out someone.
Okay, no, I'm not going to mention any names. But I've discovered that as a quick kind of two fingers to the company that own XFM, I don't know why they have this problem. They choose to use 2 tea bags in each cup of tea they make.
Oh, that's brilliant.
What's the point?
Well, I tell you what the point is, to shove it to the man.
Right.
XFM's rock and roll through and through, we know that. Are they also having loads of milk in their tea? Is that, and
no, they're not, actually.
How many sugars do you want? 6? I don't like them, but I'm making a point. But also, how many tea bags? 2 in the cup, 4 in the bin, please. Because it's a kind of interesting thing, because there's loads of things that fed into this kind of obsession that we've had over the last hour before we went on air with this. Did you see Paolo Di Canio, the Swindon manager who resigned on Monday, then supposedly or allegedly, or whatever the word is, has been accused of, I think is the words of The Guardian, of them breaking back into the Swindon training ground, or no, it's Swindon Stadium, and tearing down pictures of himself and the team together. Which is the kind of passion you want from a manager. But it is this kind of rebellion that just... I like the smallest, pettiest acts you can do against your employer. I had a friend, he is a comedian, with his last agent who he didn't like. He felt were ripping him off. And this is an agent who you kind of go into their offices and it's a bit like going into Foxton's. And they've got like fridges and they're like, hey, do you want to chill out and have a fizzy water while we have this meeting? At your expense. And he used to fill his, when they weren't in the room, he'd fill his bag with the contents of the fridge that was in the meeting room. To get back the thousands of pounds he'd lost at the Edinburgh Festival.
Why would he turn up for meetings with a suitcase?
Well, yeah. They've since implemented a kind of airport-style security system at their offices. So what we're looking for then is the pettiest, smallest, most pathetic acts you've done to make money back off your employer. The other one, obviously, is when you think, I'm going to go to the toilet even though I don't need to. On company time. And what are you going to do about it? Absolutely nothing.
Josh Widdicombe. XFM.
We are talking about we're looking for minor acts of rebellion at work. Obviously, we've had a couple of people who've said things and you just go, well, that's just disrespectful. What we're looking for is what Sarah from Bristol did. And this was the one we were anticipating, Neil. We knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the sweepstake was taken, and about 30 seconds in, someone has been stealing loo rolls from work, and that's fair enough. She's probably once stole loo rolls from work as if she's a recovering addict. They had a note on the back of the door saying, "I think of the environment, use what you need." That's what she wasn't going to do it until they said, "Think of the environment," and she thought, "How dare you?" And then she's written a swear word there. I'm not sure I can say it, so I won't.
Definitely don't.
Definitely don't. Okay. Someone's been on training this week. So Sarah's currently leading with the stealing blue rolls. What we're looking for is the nichest things you've stolen or done. I think what we want to do is we want you to feel like you are the loser in this situation. We don't want people going, and then I said to my boss this, and he was gutted. When you've done something at work and you've gone, oh, I can't believe I've just done that. How petty am I? Also, I think we should broaden it out to landlords and spouses.
Okay.
Yep, I think we can all agree with what that would produce some even more bitter and pointless listeners to get on board.
Josh Widdicombe. Podcast. XFM. XFM.
We are talking today about petty acts against your employer, and we usually league table these things, don't we?
Yes.
But I've only read out one so far, which was the stealing of the toilet roll, which is we knew was coming. What we're almost using that as a control. That is the medium.
That's mid-table.
That's completely mid-table. I was going to say Aston Villa, but not this season. Not the time to get into Aston Villa's woes in the Premier League. Now this is the toilet roll taken up a notch, which is never a phrase I thought I'd say since I've used that quilted stuff. This is from Stuart, who signed it Stuart Kiss, which is to be encouraged. And anyone who does that has about 20% more chance of getting their text or tweet read out. Not the Stuart bit, the kiss. It doesn't work with two kisses, too needy. Hi Josh, I have worked out if you hold out and use the toilet, if I hold out, sorry, it's not a tip for me. If I hold out and use the toilet when I get to work and spend 15 minutes in there, well, there's your first quibble, Stuart. I don't know what you're doing in there, but I spend 15 minutes in there. It costs my employer £3 a day. So that's he's on £12 an hour. Mm-hmm. We've worked that out. That equates to £15 a week, which is £720 per annum. Open brackets, £730 if you work a couple of bank holidays, close brackets. Astonishing. I presume that's what he's doing when he's wasting 15 minutes in the toilet. Few questions, Stuart. Have you factored in holidays? Does he, when he's doing his 2 weeks holiday, does he block himself up? Because there's no point in doing that on holiday time. I think Stuart goes to the top. That's the kind of pettiness we're looking for from our listeners. It's almost like a kind of maths question you get in a GCSE. If Stuart goes to the toilet for £15 an hour, not for £12 an hour for 15 minutes, how long will he bring down HMV? As a teenager working, this isn't Stuart again. He's not just ploughing on. And another thing, as a teenager, I used to chop my nails at work, saving myself. No, as a teenager, I've just remembered when I was a teenager. Sorry, off topic. Well, on topic, but not this. I used to have a job at a local pub, and my job was 2 hours a week, 2 separate hours. Saturday mornings and Wednesday afternoons, doesn't matter. Don't know why I went into that. Which was going to the log shed and getting the logs and bringing them in to put next to the open fire. But it was probably about 10 to 15 minutes work. So to kind of see out the hour, I'd just sit in the log shed. My sister also didn't understand my job thing and thought I went into the nearby woods to forage for logs. So I go top of the league. I don't know who this is from, this next one. Could you tell me now? As a teenager, working in the stock room of a leading baby products retailer. Mothercare?
Let's not guess.
We knew we were on we knew we were on 4-hour shifts so that we didn't need a break during the shift. Oh yeah, I understand. 4 hours. Legally, they don't need a break. So once again, this is GCSE maths going on. We used to take a break by sitting in the aisle. We had no CCTV, in car seats, and playing with the toys we'd just unpacked.
What a way to spend your life.
What a way. Because there comes a point when it's not the company that's the loser, but you. And that's basically, that's the point on the graph where those two things intersect, where we're looking for the perfect anecdote today. And I think we can agree that so far Stuart is leading.
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.
Current leader of the league table of people who've
Let me consult the
stuck
charts.
it to the man by being at work and doing something very minor.
Okay, we'll do top three.
Three.
You're at number 3.
Another Mark Goodyear reference.
Hiding in the woodshed.
Hiding in a woodshed is number 3.
Number 2 came in from Anonymous, who hid in the aisles where there was no CCTV of a major kind of baby store and played with toys.
It's Mothercare. We don't know. I'm sure.
And number 1 came from Stu, who basically gave us a poo calculator.
Which is basically a calculation of time versus effort of him spending time in the toilet to make money off his work. So let's see where you put these in the league table. Alex Hotmail, who I think is Alex Hotmail, but we'll be fine with it. I used to... Now, we've all charged our phone at work.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's admit that. Alex says, I used to take my electric toothbrush in for a free charge. Get it? I mean, I was talking earlier about the line perfectly where it intersects you being the loser and them being the loser. And I think, sadly, so he swung too far to himself being the loser, which I almost prefer, actually.
But what did his colleagues say?
I know. It's unless he pretended it was a novelty toothbrush-shaped phone. Is that your phone calling? Is your phone vibrating? No, it's just on a very vigorous scrub. I mean, how much? I don't know how much money you get for it for a free charge, but we admire your gumption, Alex. I admire your gumption. Luke Davies, 1991. How old does that make him? 22. Fair enough. Said I managed to watch the whole Liverpool match at work the other day without getting caught. Hashtag rebel. He's actually Brendan Rodgers' assistant. Luke Davies, 1991, who presumably, obviously, has missed out on Liverpool's glory years, so he's actually torturing himself, if anything. Luke needs to be clear about his job title for us to be able to understand how much rebellion is involved in that.
Yeah.
If he's working at Manchester United, then he's going to go quite high up. If he's working at, the Telegraph sports section, I'm not impressed with Luke Davies. So, Luke, we need more details. Alex, you're going quite near the top of our league table.
I'm going to put you in at number 2.
You're going to go in at number 2. Thank you, Neil. Thank you for the revelation.
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.
So that was Suede. The best thing about... Well, no, not the best thing about Suede. My best fact about Suede is that Matt Osman's brother is none other than Richard Osman, the sidekick of Alexander Armstrong on the BBC hit show Pointless.
Really?
Yes, which is genuinely the best show on television that I'm not involved in. Although I would love to be involved in it. I was asked to do the current release special, but I was on holiday, and it pains me to this very day that I didn't get that opportunity. But that is a good bit. Richard Osman, who obviously a very tall man and very he's kind of very popular at the moment, very in, and rightly so, because Pointless is the best show on TV, as I've said before. So yeah, there's a bit of trivia. No one knew that. I think it should... there's no other brothers I can think of. Brothers in bands of famous people from other areas, apart from Johnny and Andrew Marr. And Morrissey and David Morrissey is the other one. Any others you can think of?
Not off the top of my head.
Not off the top of your head. No. Well, so there you go. So any that you've got. Why not make this? Why not make this a text or a tweet? Why not? We will. We're going to bloody do it. You can't stop me. At XFM or 83936 if you have any brothers of people or sisters. We're not sexist. Or also if you have any more acts against the man. There you go. Text or tweet. 83936 at XFM.
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.
White Stripes, hardest button to button on XFM. And we are talking about famous siblings. How good is that link? Famous siblings of people in bands. Do you know who Jack White's sister is?
No.
It's Meg White, it's the drummer.
I thought they were husband and wife.
Well, they weren't actually siblings, they pretended to be. Because it would sell so many more records. And I know that's the reason I bought them. This comes from Matt Osman and his from Suede and his brother Richard Osman from Pointless. And I've missed the best one, obviously. We've had a couple of texts about this. It's like going, can you name famous footballing brothers and not coming up with the Charltons? Which is Steve Coogan and his brother Martin Coogan, who as you might remember, was in the Mock Turtles.
What did he do in the Mock Turtles?
He played musical instruments and often used... I think he wrote the songs. He wrote the songs.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so he's the main one. And do you know Steve Coogan, what he did? He was in Alan Partridge in a minor role. But this is my favourite one. Morning, excellent start from Jack Embarking. That's the kind of thing we're looking for. Morning, the Alex Ferguson lookalike guy who played Taggart. What I like is a man who's done his research. It really creates an image, Jack Embarking. It's that kind of vivid language I'm looking for. The Alex Ferguson lookalike guy who played Taggart had a brother who played guitar in the glam rock band Sweet. Now, I was excited about this, but I thought, I need to check these guys' names. So I researched it. Mark McManus from Taggart. I didn't know his name, but I did Google it, right? And in his Wikipedia page, there's an area called Trivia. Now, I don't want to have a go at Jack embarking, but I will say this, Jack. Occasionally cited as being the brother or otherwise of sweet vocalist Brian Connolly, not the guy with the puppet. Mm-hmm. Actually, Connolly's foster father, Jim McManus, was Mark McManus's uncle. The complex McManus family relationships are covered in No Matter What They Say, The Story of Sweet, published by Sweet Home Publishing 2009, which sounds... Oh, Home Sweet Home Publishing 2009, which does sound painfully like Sweet might have set up their own publishing company to do their authorised biography. I mean, and Jack embarking has won a copy of No Matter What They Say, The Story of Sweet, because he needs to read it. I say won a copy. Oh, he hasn't, but he can go and buy one. He's won the information that copy existed, and he'll no longer go around peddling his lies.
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.
And I'm still here. It's Josh Widdicombe, and I'm still joined by Tom Crane.
Hello.
Hello, there he is.
Hello.
Hello. And we all have on the phone now. Each week, for the last few weeks, James Acaster has been telling us about his scrapes. We've described them as scrapes. Basically, it's an anecdote in which his life turns into a kind of 1970s sitcom. And he's not here this week, so he's on the phone. Hello, James.
You know what I mean?
Where are you?
I'm in Leicester. Currently, there's a little new cafe that's open next to the train station called the Postal Bar.
This better be a scrape, James, otherwise I'm not interested.
There's been no scrape at all, actually, here. It's been going quite well, but what I have noticed is that there's no postal theme whatsoever to the Postal Bar. There's a lot of antlers all over the wall, which has nothing to do, I don't know about you guys, but never received a idea.
Never received that antler in the post. So let's move on and get into your scrape, James. Otherwise, the Postal Bar and us are going to get hauled over the coals by some kind of authority. Is it this week that something's happened to you, or are you going for one of your scrapes from the archives?
I'm not having to dip into the archives. I mean, to be honest, I'm quite impressed at how in the 4 weeks of doing this, I haven't really had to delve into greatest hits yet. This was every week I seem to just be living the same unfortunate existence I always have in the last 28 years. Unfortunately, I've always got a new one for you.
Great news.
This one happened on the Tube this week.
Yeah.
The London Underground.
The London Underground. People outside of Zone 6.
I am in Leicester. Some people are overhearing this and just looked at me and I said the Tube. Like I was a madman.
The Jules Holland TV show from the 80s.
This guy's got scrapes from every decade. No, I was going to say, my pet hate on the Tube is when people don't let you off the carriage.
Yeah.
But I've never walked on before, and I was in a really packed carriage, and as it was emptying, I was like the last person to get off it. As I went to get off, this guy found on the platform not only got on, didn't let me off, but he also pushed me back on as he went on. Like properly, just like I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And in doing so, the door closed, and I was still on the tube. It started. The train pulled away, and I was by the way, I was cutting it fine for my appointment as it was, and.
What was your appointment?
I think I was going to an evening performance. I think I was going to watch my friends play. That's what I was doing.
Don't try and make yourself sound more highbrow than you actually are, James. You were going to Pizza Hut alone.
So what did you do?
Well, this is for maybe the second time in my life, I got angry. Because it doesn't often happen. And I turned round, and the culprit was actually still had the nerve to be standing right next to me by the door, laughing, really smiling like a Cheshire cat, Josh. I looked at him, and I was like, I'm not letting this go. I said to him, I probably pointed at him. I was like, I don't know why I bothered, but I pointed at him, and I said, you do realise you're meant to let people off the carriage first. It's only polite what I said.
Oh,
I said, it's only polite, mate. And he stopped laughing. I said, seriously, mate, seriously, it's not. I'm trapped in this tube now. And it was really, the whole carriage went quiet. It was really tense. I could feel everyone looking at us. And then he just went, it wasn't me. And then I looked around and I realised the person was sitting. He had gone way past me and sat way down the other end of the carriage. I was there by the door with this stranger who was just trying to kind of like laugh with me. Oh, wasn't that funny? What an idiot who pushed you back on the tube. I had a go at him. Then we're both standing next to the door together. So I'm kind of like, I can't go and walk away from him. And then the tube did that thing where it just stopped in between stops in the tunnel.
Oh.
So we were there for about 5 minutes.
So awkward.
5 minutes just stood next to each other, and I just got angry. And it's awful when you kind of come down from being angry to being embarrassed, and you can feel everyone looking at you. I should never do it.
No.
Doesn't suit me.
Well, James, thank you very much. I'm going to leave you with your new catchphrase, which is keep on scraping.
Still scraping.
Still scraping.
Josh Widdicombe. XFM.
Let's move on to the news, and we all know what the big story of the week is. But who's going to talk about it? It's our news correspondent, Joe Lycett. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Josh. Good morning, listeners.
That was lovely.
Hello.
That did sound like you were broadcasting from the Radio 1 Roadshow. And as news correspondent, Joe, can you tell us what the big story of the week was for you?
Oh, it's a big one, Josh, this week. Oh, I'm just so excited to tell you about it. It's that Ben Fogle had his wine spiked with LSD. That is the big news story of the week.
I'm not sure you should be coming on here and making them up.
I'm not making it up, mate.
Is this true?
It's on a website. I'm reading it off a website now, mate.
Wow, that is an extraordinary story. Did he hallucinate that he'd been on a reality TV show and maintained a career for 10 years afterwards? Is that what he...
I think so. I don't. Well, it happened in Gloucester.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the sorts of things that go down in Gloucester. Gosh.
It is. Keep away
from the crazy life that people are having in Gloucester. And he said that he picked his daughter up and she felt incredibly light, like a grain of rice. And suddenly he had a compulsion to jump through a window.
Oh, my word.
And so he went to hospital for that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a Friday night for me. I'm normally picking up Ben Fogle. No, I'm normally picking up Ben Fogle's daughter and jumping out of a window. And so he went to hospital and they said most likely, I mean, it's not confirmed, but it's most likely that he was taking LSD. So there are other options.
I can't have. I'm Ben Fogle. Can you think of anything less likely?
Yeah. No, it's definitely LSD. You're obviously been spiked. I wonder whether it's just Ben Fogle. That's just kind of how he is a bit. Or maybe it was just the response to being in Gloucester that he'd lost the will to live a bit. I don't know. Who knows?
So is Ben Fogle from Gloucester? I don't know where Ben Fogle's from. He could be from Gloucester, couldn't he?
I've no idea where he's from. I think he's from somewhere a bit posher, isn't he?
Yeah.
I can Wikipedia it for you, Josh.
Let's do some live Wikipedia of Ben Fogle.
Well, my internet's a bit slow, so...
Okay, I'll fill.
Hang on. Ben Fogle. Search. It's just loading up now.
I mean, I hope...
What would you feel in this moment?
Well, I could talk about other people from Castaway. No, I couldn't. No, I remember anyone else.
His middle name is Meyer. How about that?
This is exciting. Genuinely, this is a Sony Award-winning bit of broadcast. I'm loving this. Give me some more facts about Ben Fogle.
The son of British actress Julia Foster and Bruce Fogle. What a name. And he was educated in Hampstead in London. It actually doesn't say where he's from. London, England.
London, England. We've heard of it. London, England. Home of the Queen, I think.
Home of the Queen and I don't know who else lives in London. Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren. Just the two of them looking at each other. Oh, well, that is a good story. So basically what he's presuming is that someone's either decided to do this or they've had some LSD and then seen Ben Fogle's drink and gone, do you know what would be more fun? Would be watching Ben Fogle on LSD. I don't... Either that or they've spiked a drink and then Ben Fogle's come over and picked it up and they've gone, I genuinely can't believe what has happened here.
Yeah. It's one of the two, isn't it? I think that it might be more of a trip to see Ben Fogle having a trip
than doing it yourself.
Than having a trip yourself. That's a better hallucination, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
I don't know what happens when you're on LSD in terms of hallucinating. I've never taken it because drugs are bad, everyone.
That, Joe, is a brilliant ending.
Josh Widdicombe. Podcast. XFM.